What an amazing view. This is from my house up in the Santa Cruz Mountains. A good friend of mine has the same view, but on the other side, and the clouds come all the way up to where he lives. And he has dubbed his property, he's given it a name, he calls his home Sky Harbor, which is exactly the way I feel. You know, when I look out at these clouds out here, and it's most mornings in the summertime, it fills in like this. It's a smooth ocean of clouds. But as soon as the sun hits it, it starts to create little waves on the surface of this ocean. And you know, sometimes I look out here and I can almost imagine a clipper ship sailing across over the sky. Oh, I love it up here. Okay, get back to work. A huge part of the work that we do is maintaining trees in confined areas, condominium complexes. And generally they choose the wrong species for such a tight area. Big mistake. Well, I want to talk about that today. Oh, look at that boy go. Damn, he's good. Thing is, he works twice as fast when he knows he's on video. All right, one of the trees that we work on a lot is the liquid amber. Liquid amber styraciflua, the American sweetgum. It is not a good choice. It's a beautiful tree, beautiful fall color, but they get far too large. Their roots are invasive, and when you plant them in an environment where you've got to maintain them because they're too close to the buildings, something happens that makes things worse. You notice how this tree has multiples on the ends? Every time you snip a branch, it comes out in 2 or 3. And if you snip them again, then you've got 6. Now, a big problem with this is that this particular type of tree has these very heavy seed balls. And when they're green, they're very heavy. So look at that. We've got multiples from where this was trimmed in the past. And now we have to just continue with the same problem. We have to keep up with what happened in the past because we have no choice. Trees are too big. All of this from here was taken off of just this one tree. And if we look really closely, this is interesting. Pay close attention to this. Look at all the old wounds, all the old cuts, and how this tree has reacted to all these cuts. You know, a lot of people say, yes, trees respond to pruning, but many times in a really bad way because now it's too heavy. So once the problem is begun, and we don't have a choice, you know, in this tree, with this complex, these trees are just far too large. So we have to keep up on them because they'll hit the buildings, they'll be all hanging into people's faces. So in a way, it's kind of job security, but it's not really the best way to deal with a tree. It would have been so much better to choose better species to begin with. But we're stuck. Every single year or every other year, you've got to get in there and keep up on this mess. Unfortunately, if you wait for 3 years, things start breaking. So here's what these trees look like after we finish pruning them. And they look pretty good. Lots and lots of separation cuts. Now, like I said, we have to keep up on these trees. And there are a few problems. One of the problems that I wanted to talk about, that I'll show you in a bit here, is from an insect that can move into the dead branches. If you've got big dead sections of the tree, then carpenter bees can move in. This is what's known as a brood tunnel. This was a very soft, punky branch, and I did locate a larva in there, a living larva, which I pulled out just to look at it. I'll show you that in a second. But the big black carpenter bees, look at that fungus, looks like a little Ganoderma developing there. The big black carpenter bees, it's just the females that do the boring into the wood. And it's just the females that can sting. They rarely do, but if you try to catch one in your hand, they can sting you. The males will not, and the males don't do any damage. There's that little larva. Now there's a lot of other problems that seem to be attacking the liquid amber, and one of them, besides this particular insect, is a trunk canker disease, likely Botrytis. And you can see on this cut here, this is a wound from previous years, you can see the infection is oozing down. And in this particular image, this is from a dead branch. You can see the swelling on the side of the cut. Now, if you looked down the entirety of that branch, you can see that it was drying out and working its way all the way down the trunk. It's a very serious problem. Oh, I like this. The front of the complex had a lot of crepe myrtles to prune, and they were all the multi-stem version. I was going along looking at them. We pruned out all the dead wood, and the branches were hitting trunk. Look at that, one single one. So they made a mistake. One of them had a single leader. You know, I want to wrap this up by talking about another subject that I have. It needs a whole topic on its own, and that's inventories of complexes and putting number tags, aluminum metal tags in trees. And as you can see, as the trees grow, if these things are nailed in tight, they get absorbed. Here's one where they did at least leave the nail sticking out, so it bought more time. But one by one, they get absorbed into the trees. So you have to ask yourself, how valuable are these tags?